Like, I work in film and TV. I'm in LA. This Jimmy Kimmel shit is real. Like,
Yeah.
as a filmmaker, it's very alarming. So the fact that they're being so sensitive about us laughing in their face, it really just goes to show how thin skinned this administration is, and how they are quickly dissolving into full on authoritarian. So
Yeah.
I just really think we should take heed of the Jimmy Kimmel situation, because they're going to wiggle out of that. They're going to have plausible deniability with that. But we as American citizens should recognize what's really going on. And I
Mhm.
will say, I have seen less MAGA. I have seen less MAGA on this app. They still out here. It's still a rush, a lot of bots and a lot of like paid actors out here. But I've seen less of them. So there's a chance we may be, you know what I'm saying? We may be crumbling the facade, and that's why they've got to double down on, trying to repress our free speech. So as a filmmaker, as an artist, as an anthropologist, as a historian, as an educator, I just implore everyone to take this very serious, this violation against First Amendment rights, and to really, I talked yesterday also about this film Deconstructing Karen. And again, TikTok may not always be the place to have these conversations with the far right. But if there are people in your lives, in your families, in your communities, even at your jobs, but be careful, have those heart to heart conversations, because that's the only way we're going to actually make a difference with these people. The rhetoric is, it's enough with the rhetoric, like, I get it. Like, I don't like them either, but I really want us to start changing the conversation to be with people that we can have mutual respect for, and try to break through that facade with those people. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to reach all the MAGA, but if there's people in your life who care about you, take that opportunity to explain to them why what is happening is wrong.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I ever heard that before. Let me. So you said deconstructing Karen.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
So there's a documentary. That's what I was talking about on my live yesterday too. There's this documentary, and my friends recommended it to me. I hadn't heard about it. It came out in 2022, and I forget what city it was. My apologies for not having all the details. I'm just talking off the top of my head right now. But it's about these two women. It's one Indian woman and one black woman, and they actually do have a white woman on staff, and they host these dinners where people come to dinner, where white women especially come to dinner, and it's with different white women, so it's not all their peers, it's people they don't know also. And so they come together and they have this conversation about what are they feeling, what are they struggling with when it comes to race. And they basically kind of start off with the survey. I talked about the key points that I saw were, like, they start off by asking, well, who is racist? And of course, none of the women raise their hands. They don't want to raise their hands, right? None of them are racist. And then they have a little dialogue about it, and of course the women are very defensive. They're very much like, well, not me, it's not me, I'm not the problem. And then they keep talking, and then, because the women don't know each other women also recognize, hey, they're being really defensive, they're being really, something must be going on there. So by the time the conversation is like coming towards the end, she asks again, how many of you are racist? And then they all raise their hands. And she asked them, well, why do you raise your hand now? And they're like, I recognize these are the things that I would say. I say these type of things. I think this type of way. And you're explaining to me that is in fact racism too. Because I think a lot of them think, unless they're burning a cross, I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't say it like that, but unless they're out here doing direct violence, they think they're not a part of the problem. And so that's what the film is about, really deconstructing what is racism, and then how are you playing, how do you perpetuate it? How are you playing a role in it? And so, yeah, I think, but what happens is, by the end of the conversation, the women are a lot more receptive, to understanding they have a role. It's just one conversation, so I'm not going to say it's it's the answer or anything, but they definitely point out that it starts with meaningful conversations where you have some mutual respect.
You know what? That reminds me too. When I was in Chicano studies class,
Mm-hmm.
which in a way is like ethnic studies.
Yeah.
However, it's more like focused on like Chicano, etc. The professor asked the whole class. Most of us look like me, right? Most of the class look like me.
Yeah.
There's a couple of white people, a couple of black people. The professor asked, "Are any of you white supremacists?" And everybody, of course not, of course not. Come on. We're gonna take a quiz to see which one of you are. And we learned that most of us do have white supremacist views and don't even know it because, like you said, most of us think because we're not burning a cross, etc., wearing a robe, that's all it takes. We're not out here calling somebody, attacking somebody because of their complexion, because of their race. People fail to understand what white supremacy is, how it works, and how you contribute to it, exercise it, practice it, even if you're not white tea.
That's right. And I would think that in this situation that we're in, I think more people maybe are aware to that. Now they're recognizing, anybody could be a white supremacist. It don't matter what they look like, they can support that system. And that's also what makes it tricky. That's what makes it hard for us to fight back with, because if everyone can be one, then we really have to be conscious about, well, what does make someone really racist, right? What does make someone bigot? If it's not their own phenotype, well, then what is it? So I think a lot of us as Americans are coming to grapple with that currently. I mean, the Latinos for Trump, blacks for Trump, black MAGA, whatever. These are walking contradictions, and but they exist just the same. And I think it's important for us to recognize that white supremacy is not bound by only the complexion of the people. It's really about the mind.
If you're a people that have been colonized by white people, more than likely your entire views are white supremacists, and people need to understand that. And the only way that you are not is if you actually go out of your way to discover, to study what white supremacy is, how it works, and then you have to go out of your way to practice how not to be, how not to perform it, rather.
That's right. Anti-racism is a real field of study, because it does require a lot of dismantling, and it's a lot of interpersonal dismantling, because that's what I was talking about last night too. And they talk about in Deconstructing Karen, they've got to go home and sit with themselves with the mirror. And there's nobody there for that, right? There's no cameras for that. There's no YouTube live for that. That type of internal deconstruction has to be done within oneself. Absolutely. Alone, Absolutely. Okay, last thing I remember, because you also, another reason I like you, I'm not trying to be funny, you remind me of my ex. He's Peruvian. He was indigenous Peruvian. And we also made a documentary together, but he lives in Peru, and the government actually monitors their media. So I don't know when that film is going to come out, but that's another reason I like you, because you're cute. You're cute, boo.
Okay. I try. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just teasing, but have a great day.
You said your boyfriend or ex-boyfriend?
My ex. My ex.
Okay. Shout out to the Peruvian guy. All right. I'll talk to you.
Okay. Peace.
All right.
Bye.